squig burger and my XXXL size cheese shake. Let's watch some Blood Bowl.
Hey, this is DisturbingPuppet back again playing some more of my season of Blood Bowl 2. So continuing with my High Elf team, the Talons of Tiranoc. So today we're going up against the Kislev Circus team, who actually gave me some trouble last time. Our ratings are pretty close, so hopefully there won't be any crazy shenanigans going on with what he picks up. So I'm just going to go through the teams here real quick. I am down a couple guys for this game from injuries from the last one. So you can see I've got a catcher out, and then my lineman with guard is out, which is really unfortunate. He's very helpful. So we've got my thrower up here. We've got kickoff return and strong arm have been added to his pass and safe throw he starts with. I've got one catcher for this game with catch and dodge. One catcher down here with catch and nerves of steel, which mainly I got just to help for catching. It can also be used for passing or intercepts as well, which could possibly be useful. Hasn't come up yet anyway. And then my other catcher just has catch, hasn't leveled up yet. I've got one blitzer who's picked up a couple skills, so I added tackle and strip ball to him. My other blitzer just has block, so down here. I now have 3 linemen who have block, and then I've got a couple linemen who haven't picked up any skills at all yet. So unfortunately, being down a catcher and my lineman with guard is going to make things a little harder.
All you need to do is sign a 500-year
So the Kislev Circus, the Furry Entertainers, which I think is kind of a crazy name, kind of the crazy Santa team I've got going on here. I don't know if the colors are chosen randomly, but it's sort of very buff Santa kind of looking with the guys here. They did cause some problems for me last time. I think mainly it was the diving tackle skill. Yeah, it seemed like it's a -2 to my dodge roll if he uses it, but it seemed like every time I tried using it, it always succeeded in the last game. So it was really causing me a lot of trouble because I tend to want to get my guys away from the opponents and dodge away, and a lot of my guys, even if they don't have the dodge skill, I'm going to do a lot of dodging with them. They've got a high agility. I don't want to keep my guys directly adjacent to take a lot of hits, typically anyway, depending on the team you're playing against. So the blitzers here with the jump up is very problematic. That makes it so even if you knock them down, they can still get up and have decent movement allowance. So you can't always rely on knocking people down to kind of free up your guys. He's got a guy here with strip ball as well. I haven't seen them actually leap that much, even though a lot of the guys have leap. Maybe all of them have leap. I have to check. So we've got a guy with accurate here, which is kind of interesting. So maybe he's kind of building a passer, or maybe the AI is just picking odd skills.
Bathroom facilities have only been built in modern stadia since the last decade. Before that, the waste was
kickoff return.
Well, actually, no one knows.
I really wish it would just list the skill names. I'm not familiar at all with a lot of the icons. A few of them, like block, I see so often I tend to know, but a lot of these that you don't see very often, I have no clue when I'm looking. So it makes it a little harder to kind of pick what you're doing and deciding how to move guys and stuff. So another guy, strip ball and dirty player, actually. So catchers at leap, very long legs, diving catch. Okay, so he can jump for it. Sneaky get. Okay, interesting skill for catcher. And this other blitzer down here actually has block. I think it's the only guy I saw with block on this whole team. It'd be interesting. Yeah, I don't see anybody else. Okay, so let me just check the stream, make sure everything's working. Okay. If sound or anything is weird, put a comment in chat. I do have to kind of Alt-Tab out to check on it. I don't have multiple screens or anything. I'm just doing this on my gaming laptop, which I picked up about a year ago, and kind of been playing games, and I figure if I'm playing stuff, I might as well stream. Especially turn-based stuff's kind of easy to do that with, and I like playing turn-based games. I've been playing Blood Bowl since 2nd edition board game, had an undead team there. My instincts a lot of times are to sort of hit stuff, beat up the opponent, and make
What
openings.
past don't
But I have really
excuse
enjoyed playing the
obsolete
more
sport
agile
when you were
teams.
playing,
So
Bob?
kind of playing the high elf team. I didn't get a chance to play them in the previous game because I had it on the 360, which didn't have the high elves. But I also wanted to do something a bit more agile, focusing more on the agility of my players and doing some more kind of fun, crazy kinds of things that you can do with them, as opposed to sort of grinding your way down the field with a lot of the more bruiser teams. So I've only really played in this game Undead and Chaos Dwarves, neither of which were in the previous 360 version of the game, and then now High Elves. But I have some experience playing the games. I'm not perfect or anything. I will make mistakes, especially when I'm streaming. If I'm trying to do things quickly or trying to make some kind of commentary, sometimes I'll miss stuff. Probably drove some people nuts when I was playing last time and I was just making dodges without checking about the diving tackle, things like that. But I try to do my best, and I'll point out some things for newer players and some ideas of things to do, and kind of walk you through my thought process as I'm going through stuff. Sometimes I'll do kind of silly things, but it depends on how things are going in the game, so we'll see what happens.
The team knows its opponents. We can
I'm not
launch
going to
the
spend any
game.
money here. We'll see if he's actually going to use any money. Okay. So a little bit less like a KO, not a big deal.
Ready, steady.
So this is continuing the competition that I've been playing. I think this is I've got 8 teams total in the competition going on, and I set it up so a couple round robins. I wanted every team to play every other team twice before going into the playoffs, and then just kind of the top 4 teams going into the playoffs. So it'll be kind of one playoff game and then a final. I think this is the 3rd game of the 2nd round robin. I've got some of the games are still up here on Twitch, but I always will upload stuff also later up on my YouTube channel, which is also DisturbingPuppet. So I just kind of do that so that they don't disappear forever. And my previous season, when I was playing the Chaos Dwarves, was also up there for the games that I streamed. I didn't stream the first 3 or 4 games that I played with that. I just kind of decided, hey, why not do some streaming and trying it out.
To our previous thoughts and rumored sponsorship
But I've got a
deals,
few other
I'll
games and things
surely
up on my
cruise
YouTube channel as well. And I think there's still a Mordheim video up on Twitch that I played about a week or so ago. So here, I've mentioned this before, but I typically do like to kick the ball to start with, which means I'll definitely get it at the second half. I like to get the ball for sure in the second half. If you're playing a really weak team, you might want to go first, even if you are thinking about, down the road, you might want to have it for that second half, because that way you can actually get some hits in first before your opponent does. So if you're kind of a weak team, it's not necessarily a bad idea to go first. So if you're playing something like maybe goblins or halflings, even Skaven possibly, you might want to get your hits in first. So what I'm going to do is just kind of keep 3 guys on the front line. I'm going to kind of limit the amount of guys that he can hit, at least to start with. It's kind of what I've been doing with the High Elves. They do have decent armor, so you can pretty much fight if you want to right on the line. It kind of depends on the team you're playing. The Kislev guys aren't too hard hitting, but if you're playing Chaos Dwarves, that kind of stuff, Chaos, Dwarves, Chaos Dwarves, then you might want to kind of limit the amount of guys you're going to get pounded on the front line. Don't really want my guy with less armor out here, so we'll swap him out. What I would usually do would actually have my guy with guard kind of in the center here, so on my turn I can move him up to assist. I found that pretty useful. But unfortunately, he's out for the game. And I think I'll put my guy with dodge out on the edge, just in case. Maybe keep him back a little bit further. Yeah, so this is kind of a typical setup. I might have this guy offset a little bit further back or play with the settings. Sometimes you might want the guy with tackle out on the edge. This blitzer doesn't, but this blitzer does have tackle. So depending on who you're playing, if it's a more agile team, you might want tackles out on the sides, which will sort of have to direct them more in a little bit, or at least reduce the chances of them going around the sides. You want to make sure you have tackle zone coverage all the way through, and so I've got overlapping. I've got the minimum number of guys on the front line. They all do have blocks, so they're a little bit tougher than you'd normally expect, just as regular guys. So kicking team does set up first, so that's kind of what I've got going on. We'll see how he responds. I'm surprised he's not really piling a bunch of guys up on the front line. So this X here does kind of mark the center position, which is usually what I'll go ahead and kick for. Mainly I just want the ball to stay on the field of play. If I had the kick skill, I could be a little bit more careful about where I want to kick it. But it deviates so much. It actually seems like it deviates more in this game than the previous game. That I just kind of go for wanting it to stay on the field if possible.
Weather is fine, so I'm not going to talk about it again.
I'm hoping he'll fail the catch. It actually deviated a little bit from there. So at least with it being on the ground, he's got to at least make a die roll to pick it up. Wow, he's got 6 rerolls. That's a lot. So he may be failing stuff. What you want to do is make it so your opponent has to do as many die rolls as possible. Eventually they will fail some of them. At least, hopefully, they'll eventually fail some of them. It's sort of statistics-based. Things can go really, really wrong for you with RNG, or things can go really well for your opponent or bad for you. And when you're playing an AI, it does kind of feel a little bit unfair. Playing the board game, you just kind of, oh, I've got really bad luck today or whatever. And playing the AI, it sort of feels a little bit more, I don't know, malevolent, intelligently directed sometimes. And it's probably just kind of your natural inclination to think that way, based on what's going on. So yeah, I like it if my guys can just stay on their feet. Would be nice. He's got a few advantageous blocks here, so just have to deal with it. Pretty much what you expect, having a few guys on the front line. Even if you pile up a bunch of guys on the front line, if you don't have a lot of guys with guard and have a solid wall from one side to the other, you're still going to get advantageous blocks taken against you. Now my instincts typically are to sort of hit stuff, which is probably not the best thing with a more agile team, but it's kind of what I will often do. I try to get away from that a little bit. I think I rely on that a little bit too much sometimes. So in Blood Bowl, you want to do the safe things first, so anything that doesn't require die rolls is what you want to go with. I'm trying to avoid kind of falling in the trap of just throwing tons of blocks and going from there. If you can move guys around, go for it. I'll probably move him up first because he can move a little further. Get him kind of out of the way. So sort of chasing around towards the ball, but it also puts me in a position where if the ball does come loose, if I can get it to somebody down here, they could possibly get it in very quickly. And sometimes you want to have that because you at least have the chance, even if it's very unlikely. Sometimes it's nice to have that option. If you get the ball free but you've got nobody down and you're running out of time, you just end up not being able to do anything with it. You know you can't score, which can be a little disheartening. So sort of chasing them around towards the ball, and then we'll try to stiffen up here. I may throw a block here by blitzing this blitzer. Just taking a look at who else he's got around.
Anybody got any playing cards? I'm getting bored. Hey, who knows the rules?
I'm just going to kind of move up in positions where I can get myself some advantageous blocks. Preferably with my guys who have block. Unfortunately, I can't get into here. If I do a successful block here, I can make an opening so I could get up with an assist there. I'm going to go ahead and move on out a little bit. I'm not actually going to put him adjacent to someone. That kind of then opens it up for me to get hit a lot. I just want to be here to kind of be in the way, or possibly able to respond if he moves this direction, if he somehow slips through right here. I'm going to keep my thrower back in case things go horribly wrong. So I've got an advantageous block here. We'll try to do that and see if we can make an opening to move up for another assist. Okay, we'll get the block. That's why block is such a useful skill. And then I can move up to here to get an assist for another player who already has block.
Unity is strength.
Just a push, unfortunately. And yeah, I'll follow it up.
That player is looking rather smug for remaining upright. Pride comes before a fall.
Ah. I clicked twice on there because I wanted to bring up the menu for actions, but instead it went ahead and just picked them up where I wanted to declare a blitz on the ground and then go ahead and blitz and hit that guy. Unfortunately now, since I've gotten up, I can't actually blitz. So if you're on the ground, you can blitz. You just have to be a bit more careful about bringing up that menu. I haven't had that happen before where I've clicked a little too fast for that to come up. So that's a little aggravating. So he does have block. This is kind of a dangerous block, but I've got a reroll, so I'll give it a shot. I'm not going to follow up into that position. At this point in the game, what I'm really hoping for is possibly some injuries, KOs, that kind of stuff. If I can take people out for the play, so they're out until play stops, it really helps you a lot. So that's really about all I can do. I'm going to go ahead and leave him deep here just in case things go wrong. We've kind of stiffened things up a little bit. He does have a lot of free guys over here, so we'll see what he does. I'm going to build a big cage around the ball carrier.
This formation gives them a safe progression. It's going to be hard to make them lose the ball.
Yeah, getting into that is going to be a little tough.
Is the assist going to be enough to come out on top?
Some of the teams really, if they form up that kind of block with 4 or 5 guys defending, it's almost impossible to get in there. He just made an opening. He's going to end up covering that. Nope. Okay. This is the kind of case where that player I had that had guard who's out for the game would be really useful. I could throw him into this kind of position and already have an assist for a block on the ball carrier. I may have to go for a 1-die block on him, which isn't too bad because he only has 2 strength. He didn't cover this side at all very well. It's kind of odd. So if there's anybody who's down that I want to do anything with, like dodging them out of positions, you might want to leave them there until you've done everything that's safe that doesn't require a die roll first. In case things do go wrong, it's Blood Bowl, so things can go wrong. I'll move my Blitzer with Strip Ball back here. So if he moves forward, I've got him, hopefully to possibly deal with that situation. Sort of toughen up the area ahead here a little bit, give myself an advantageous block there. And I'll probably have my catchers just roam through here as far down as they can, so they're threatening. Even if things don't go well, I've got them there as possibly a way to distract him and draw some of his players away to cover them. Even if he's got the ball, sometimes they'll do that. I don't know why the AI will do that. Sometimes it's not a bad idea if you have somebody free like that to throw a block on them, if you've got the guys free to do it. It's a little bit easier. Some of the other teams, my catchers actually have a 3 strength as opposed to the Kislev guys and only have a 2. The human catchers only have a 2. The Skaven gutter runners only have a 2. So some of those more ball handling focused players are going to be a lot weaker and a lot easier to get beat up. My guys are actually fairly tough, which is why I went ahead and picked up to 4 of them. They're so fast, I can use them as potential blitzers, I can use them as ball carriers, I can do all kinds of stuff with them. So, things that don't require dice first, probably good idea. Things that are most important, probably the next things you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do the blitz, hit the ball carrier, see if we can knock it free, would be nice.
This could be a sack. I love it when that happens.
Okay, we'll take him down.
Take down the ball carrier before
See
you
where the
get
ball
too
ends
out of
up.
the field.
Unfortunately, caught it. I was hoping it would be on the ground. For positioning, I'm just going to kind of move back a bit. I'm going to move up to sort of tie up with the catchers here a little bit. So I've got a couple advantageous blocks I can throw, and then I've got my catcher out here. And what I think I'm going to do is a little dangerous. It makes him a big target, putting him adjacent to the ball carrier. He may just try to dodge out of that position instead, but it seems like the AI often is a lot more focused on taking that person down, which is probably what you'd want to do anyway. So since here I've got block and a multi-dice advantage, we'll do that first. Yeah, I'll throw him over there. Like I broke his neck the way he responded that way. And here I don't have block. He doesn't either, but I do have a reroll still, so that's why you want block. I have to use a reroll. Just get a push, unfortunately. And I followed up just to kind of keep him tied up.
Intimidation is the key. It's one of my strengths when I was still playing.
And again, we're still going to keep him down here. If I wanted to have an assist somewhere really urgently, then I can always bring him up to do that. So we'll call that good.
Haha, here's some friends.
Yeah, so he's pulling some guys over. Cover my catchers deep there. Blitzing my poor catcher.
They're gathering around that lone player. Like halfway
He doesn't
around
have
the
dodge, so he's
separate.
going to go down.
Loosen the cage and let the pretty little
KO, that's unfortunate. I've never used an apothecary for a KO. I don't know why anyone would. Seems kind of crazy. I won't even use it for a lot of kind of minor injuries and stuff, especially with expensive players. Saving it for deaths, saving it for strength or agility reductions, things like that. And he's forming a good cage around the ball carrier here again. Just making some crazy dodging for no reason to cover him. So he was a little bit worried about my catchers being down there, apparently. So can I get my blitzer with strip ball onto the guy with the ball? I think I can get an advantageous block here. Is there anything I want to do before throwing that block? If I can take him out and maybe make an opening, then I can rush around and move into this position with this blitzer to get a block. It would only be a 1-die block, so I'd want to do that early while I still have rerolls. I don't have anything else super urgent to use because I might want to use him depending on what happens here as well. So we'll see if we can clear this out.
This player likes to be well assisted in fight.
Push is not helpful. So what I'm going to do is move the blitzer here for another assist so I can block again. I really want to get access to this ball carrier.
Come on, guys, together.
That'll take him down. And a KO, that's good. Reducing his number of players on the field. So now I've got an access route right to the ball carrier. I've got an advantageous block here. So we'll see what we can do with the ball first. It's only a 1-die block. I do have strip ball. Got a reroll. Okay, he's going to go down. I'm not going to follow that up into that big mess there. So we'll see where the ball ends up. Yeah, that's okay. Let it go wherever. Everyone's going to fail. Okay, that's actually a pretty good position. I'll move back directly adjacent to it to help sort of protect it. So now what I'm looking at is I could move up to get the ball, move out, make a toss, and maybe get into the end zone. Yeah, I don't even have to go for it to get in. And I really want to throw a block here on this catcher first. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to, so hopefully this won't go horribly wrong. Trying to hurt his guys that are most likely to be handling the balls early on. And that's something that works a lot better with certain teams, so like Lizardmen, especially with the Skinks, if they're much more likely to get hurt because of the stunty ability. The Sauruses can't really handle the ball. So if you can take out his Skinks, it's really, really helpful.
The team have possession.
Okay, so we pick that up. So I could kind of hang out here with a bunch of protection. I do have strong arm, so I have a decent chance from here of making the pass to get to him. I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's one of those things that, you know, if you're playing an agile team, why not try crazy stuff? So it's a 50% chance to pass. He has a very small chance of interception. We'll go for it. Perfect. So that's one of those things that, you know, you really can do amazing things with agile teams sometimes. Sometimes it'll totally blow up in your face. Other times it works just amazingly beautiful. So I can score right now if I want. I don't really have a lot of other things I can do. I don't have an advantageous block here because he's got other guys that aren't dealt with by my other players. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and go in and score.
The ball is in the end zone, and according to Knuckles' sacred text, we have a touchdown. An extremely
Haughty laugh.
must wake up.
I have the sound turned down quite a bit. I don't know if you could really hear the high elf haughty laugh. My knocked out guy stays knocked out. His knocked out guy comes back.
Wakey. One team's got some early knockouts back.
So now I've got my guy that was injured before that has reduced armor stat. Will be on the field, but still not too bad. 7 armor isn't terrible. I don't use them very often except for emergencies. My guys are so expensive, it's kind of hard to get rid of someone or replace them easily. So we'll kind of go with the same setup. I just want to make sure nothing changed. Okay, got my guys a block on the front line. I'm going to switch my catchers, though. He just has catch, so I have a more experienced blitzer and a less experienced catcher, and here I have a less experienced blitzer and a more experienced catcher. That's kind of all I'm really looking at for that. Like he didn't change his setup either. Do the same thing, we're just kind of hitting for the center of the field, hoping it stays in play. And hopefully it doesn't bounce out there. Okay, we'll get a bribe. I don't often foul with the High Elves. No, it ended up out. That's too bad. Let's see who's got the ball. Yeah, so even kicking right for the center, it will often end up all the way in the back there. If you have the kick skill, it's a lot better, a lot more controllable about where it's going to go. But it does seem like it deviates a lot more than the previous game.
Oh, I'm just trying to introduce a catchphrase. My agent says it will help for future gigs.
Don't do it again. I hate bad puns.
So we have a massive Santa cage building around the ball carrier.
Yeah, smells like a good old-fashioned fight.
Still quite a bit of time left, so he definitely could grind his way down the field. Even if I can slow him up. It's a lot of time left. There's also the advantage of block. Instead of going down, I'm only getting pushed, even though he's got advantageous die rolls. It'd be nice to have block and dodge. That makes you a lot harder to take down. Uh-oh. Yeah, no long-term effect. Fine. I've had people get killed in the very last turn of games and stuff, so I'm going to hold on to that Apothecary, especially if my guy's so expensive with the High Elves. There we go. Hoping for another not-so-good result there. Turnovers are wonderful. Yeah, he's got a lot of guys here protecting the ball carrier. It's going to make things a little hard. So here we're just going to stand up, keep things tight up there. Just sort of toughen up the line here as much as I can. I can move up here as well to give this guy an assist for a block there. So we'll plan on doing that. And then what I'll probably do is blitz here and try to take out the blitzer on the corner to get access this way. We'll do a block here to try to break things off in the front. Just going to throw more bodies in the way here, sort of.
That's a holding maneuver, if ever I saw one.
And then what I'm going to do is move adjacent here, so hopefully I can get a block off on the catcher. I would still like to hurt his catchers if they're isolated, if possible. And in case things go wrong, we're going to move down here. I'll leave my thrower kind of where he's at, so I have a couple guys deep. In case he breaks through here, I'll be able to do something about it. So we'll go ahead and start with this block here.
This is going to be decisive.
And I'll stay put. I'll keep the line sort of intact. Putting him here, as long as he's still on the field, does block movement as well. So he does have to go out to the side now if he has his guys and then people down. So sometimes you can actually block off access with your own bodies and with your opponent's bodies. Go ahead and blitz. See what we can do.
Unity is strength.
A knockout or injury would be preferable. So I'll push him there and then I'll follow up. Kind of limit how many guys he can get on my blitzer that way. Well, he does have the jump up skill, so he'll hop right up. He's going to get up next turn. So my blitzer here is probably going to get hammered. But I'm sort of blocking his way. The only way he can get out is to go back. He can move his guys around to make an easier access route, but he'll have to go out to this side. So I'm also going to move my thrower over a little bit so he can make it all the way to the edge just in case. So we've toughened things up quite a bit, but we've got this edge here to kind of keep in mind and worry about. He may just try to hammer right through my line here too. So I ended up keeping a few guys free right here. So hopefully I can respond depending on what he does.
Oh, look. Is that Lord Borak down there, Bob, in front row?
And apparently I've confused the AI as it's taking quite a while to decide what to do. There we go.
This is going to be enough to come out on top.
Now that'll take me down. That's unfortunate.
A little air for the ball carrier.
So he advanced a whole 1 square with the ball carrier. And I'm curious about the jump up. I didn't think if you used a jump up you'd be able to block like you did with his blitzer there. I would have thought you'd have to declare the blitz and do it that way. I guess with the skill it doesn't actually count as movement. It's been quite a while since I've had a player with jump up.
This player, the attacker, smells weakness.
Okay. Yeah, he looks like he's probably just going to try to slowly advance down, beating me up as he goes. So if I was going to try to dodge out of here, I would wait to do that. Instead, I'm just kind of using him for an assist for a possible block there. I don't really like the positioning of my blitzer and catcher here. But he does have a guy with diving tackle right there. Not a huge fan of that. So I'm going to go ahead and move my other blitzer back this way, just so I have someone else who can respond or possibly advance. I think I am just going to have to stand these guys up and leave them there. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll try to pick things apart here with a few blocks. Got the advantage here. We'll also make him basically being in a position where he can assist if I stay.
Polishing my teeth.
Why are you polishing your fangs, Jim?
Since we are now zapped across the old world in high destiny cabal vision, the viewers can see everything. So I need to look my best.
Unfortunately, the guy who can do this doesn't have block, but his guy doesn't have block either.
He's about to get punched above and below the belt at the same time.
And I'm also going to stay put. I don't want to move up in a position where I'm adjacent to 3 of his guys. It would put me next to the ball carrier, but it just makes things very, very difficult for me. Most likely I'd just end up flat on my back. So here I do have block and he doesn't, so that's a slight advantage, so I might go for that as well. And I'm going to go ahead and throw my thrower up here as well. So this way he'll be able to give me an assist, and I can throw a block out here. I know he's got jump up, so it's not going to do much unless I knock him out, stun him, or injure him. Well, stun at least. And we'll stay there, so we're kind of blocking off his forward route. Keep my catcher here just in case, and we'll go ahead and do this since I still have the reroll, haven't had to use it. And a KO.
That's gonna hurt in the morning.
So it'll help. Anything you can do to lower the number of opposing players, so things like you really have to roll the dice hitting people to reduce their numbers. The only other really way you can get people off is if you can push them over towards the edge and then knock them off the field. Even if they don't get hurt, they're out till play stops. So you can sort of set that up sometimes to sort of have multiple blocks to push people over and then knock them off the field. So it's not super easy, but you can sometimes take advantage if they're in that general area, especially if they're by themselves. So I've kind of toughened things up. Not much else I can do. I still have some guys that are free here as well, so I can respond kind of no matter what he does. Most likely he's just going to keep trying to grind forward here.
Ball is secure. Can the other team steal it away?
Kind of surprised he's following up into that position. And again, the AI is taking a while to decide what to do.
Look, Twinkle Toes there.
Another one space forward.
That player's bouncing up faster than an inflated squig.
Yeah, the blitzers with jump up are really aggravating. You knock somebody down, you expect them to be sort of out of it for a little bit, even if they get back up.
The attacker has an assist.
But no. Some of the faster guys, it doesn't matter as much either. Gutter runners, things like that with a 9 movement. Even if they are knocked down, they still have a lot of movement left. So you've got to be really careful with some of those faster teams. So this is sort of a skill making up for it with the jump up skill. So I already have an advantageous block on the edge. I can sort of force my way in a little bit. See what I want to do with my guys that are free. If I can take this guy out, then I'd have an assist that I could move for a block, either with my blitzer or possibly even with this lineman with block. I can't really get out of this position very well with a couple guys with diving tackle, so I'm just going to stand up here. And unfortunately, the only guy I have with block is here. If I do throw a block from this direction, automatically the space I would move into would be here, which isn't super bad, but it's not great either, because I want to have as much access to breaking in from this direction as possible. So I'm going to actually throw a block with somebody else first. We're going to do it early, so I definitely have the reroll.
Like halflings round a sandwich.
And I will follow that up.
He's following up, hoping to get the knockdown next time.
And what I can do now is go ahead and blitz this guy with an advantage. So I've got block and I've got the assist, 2 dice.
Is going to be enough to come out on top?
And let's just kind of push them around. KO is helpful too. It's another guy down. Out of play until play stops. So it often does this, your guy that blitzes, it then kind of switches out of them. You can still move them. You just have to click on them and do stuff with them next. It still kind of counts as their turn, even though it sort of is showing you like this, where it looks like they're done. So I blitzed already. I'll just go ahead and move right up adjacent to him. And move my player with block over. sort of toughening up the line as well, also being on the ball carrier. And it's not a great position, but I'm going to go ahead and move in here as well. He's probably just going to get hammered, but I want to make things as difficult for him as possible in here. And I'm going to sort of shift him out, putting him in kind of a weak guy who's not likely to throw a block against me. And then move my guy with block in as well. So I have some kind of skill advantages here and there. I actually have an okay foul chance here, I think. If I move up, since I do have the bribe, it's only a 42% chance. Yeah, why not? I've got the bribe, so it's relatively safe. KO, nice. And no ref call. Excellent. Yeah, like I think I was saying earlier and then got distracted, is that I don't often foul with the High Elves. It sort of depends on the team. When I was playing the Chaos Dwarves, something about the Hobgoblins made me feel like, yeah, they would foul constantly. And I really liked the fouling animation that they had for the Hobgoblins as well. So I fouled a lot. I don't usually foul that much, actually, unless I'm really beating up a team and have a lot of guys that I can swarm people who are down with. It's not something I do very often, but sometimes it really is very helpful. So this is a case where he's going to try to push me towards the edge. But because of his positioning, he doesn't have anyone else who can now throw a block. If he had moved in to this square instead, then this guy could have blocked and thrown him off if he had stayed on his feet. He didn't do a lot on his turn there. He didn't advance anything. It actually kind of caught me off guard, like, wait, it's my turn? What? I guess I have him just totally hung up. So he's only got one turn left. I've got 2 turns left. So if I want to score, I need to have somebody moving downfield right now. I don't have too many good options for that, though. If I can take this guy down, I could have a good chance of running out, possibly getting in range from there. But I need to take him out first. But that's not a high priority. So anything else I can do first is what I want to go with. So we'll just see if we can take the ball carrier down. Another KO. Just see where the ball ends up is my main concern. That's not bad. Yeah, I'll use a reroll. It'd be nice if he got it. Okay. Even with the 4 agility, not being very successful there. So I've got some advantageous blocks. I have used my reroll, so it's a little dangerous to do too many blocks. I don't want to push myself too much in that direction. Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can take this guy out on the edge here. And then we're going to try to pick up the ball.
picks up the ball with ease.
And get out as far as we can. So I can cut through here. I have to make a dodge roll. I do have dodge, so it's not too crazy. So we'll see if we can make it. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to go for it twice, even from here, to make it in. But it's possible to make it in. I don't like going for it typically because I've had super bad luck at it. But yeah, there we go. It's supposed to be a 1 in 6 chance of failing a going for it roll, and it seems more like it's about a 50% chance based on how often it happens. It's gotten to the point where I don't feel comfortable going for it pretty much ever anymore.
The gravity was too strong. I like this. The dunk
Okay, I've
is
got
about
dodge,
to
so
hit
just a
the
push.
fan.
He's actually moving me closer to the end zone.
Aim for the ball carrier.
And he's used his blitz, so that's the only hit he's going to take. So to get it into the end zone, I will have to go for it as well. But yeah, I really have had incredibly bad luck with going for it rolls, so yeah, I'm never comfortable with it. I've seen multiple times in games where every single time I've done it and the AI has done it, it's failed, including rerolls. So you go for it, fail, reroll, fail, and I've seen that happen multiple times in games. It's even happened in 1 or 2 of the games that I've streamed and put up on YouTube. I think every single attempt for going for it has failed. So like I said, it is supposed to be a 1 in 6 chance, but it seems like it's a lot higher than that. So I do have some blocks I could make more advantageous than throw. I just really want to see if I can get in for the point. It's worth a bit more that way. Don't have any real great obvious blocks I can throw. I've got a decent one here, which could turn into a couple decent ones. I'm going to see if I can avoid making a dodge roll at all here, just to push this guy out of position.
They're getting up close and personal, Bob.
You need to be close. So close they can smell your breath and see the dead insect. Hold it. Well done. You help a ball carrier.
Yeah, very tempting to do some blocks here. So, yeah, okay. If I can possibly injure his blitzers, it'd be really helpful for the rest of the game, too. So, gonna go ahead and take that chance. Probably nothing will come from it, but it'd be really nice to get an injury or something at least. Even if they're knocked out, there's a chance they wouldn't wake up after the half. You can see he's got quite a few guys knocked out right now. Nobody's injured. I could possibly swarm and foul this blitzer as well, but I'm not sure how it would work if I'd have to use the bribe. Would it still count as a turnover? I'm not sure. I'm in a relatively safe position, so I may go ahead and do that, actually. Probably have him be the one to do the actual fouling, too. So 58% chance. So it's an experiment. We'll see what happens.
Should they be stomping on the boy's neck with those studded boots that hard?
Just a KO.
So yes.
So I want to see if the ref makes the call and then what happens. Okay, didn't happen. Yeah, if the ref made the call and then I had to use the bribe, would it still count as a turnover? That's what I'm not sure about. I haven't been in that position before. Okay, we got to go for it. One time. I do have a reroll. There we go.
We're at the halfway point of the game. If the losers are gonna make a move, they need to do it now.
So it's a good way to end the half there, being up 2-0. And then I'm getting the ball for the half because I always kick it away. So if everything goes well, I'll be up 3-0 here shortly. Oh, he's still knocked out. That's unfortunate because that's my catcher that's knocked out. He's been knocked out for quite a while. All of his knocked out guys come back.
The Docs are doing their job.
They're down a player. Easy to replace. Must be a real kick in the head to have to kick the ball away when you're losing.
So he's kicking away, so this is definitely his setup. So I can definitely take advantage of that if I wanted to. I could stack up guys to have an advantage on the front line. I can move in different positions, try to take advantage of things. I don't often put guys on the front line, but if he doesn't have anyone there, it's relatively safe and get you a little bit closer to the end zone. And with some of the slower teams, it's really important to be as close as you possibly can. It's my only guy with block left. The other two, there's one of them. Okay. So actually what I think I'll do is move these guys up right on the line for assists. And then what I'll do is make sure that the guys who are getting the assists have block. So I've got a couple advantageous blocks to start off with, where I've got block and multiple dice. I can blitz on one side and try to take somebody out. He's got two blitzers this side, so I might want to advance on the other side instead. Which is fine, because this catcher I'd like to actually score and get some points. I'm only going to keep my thrower back. He does have the kickoff return skill, so he's sort of there to get to the ball, hopefully pick it up, and then we can move around behind the line and toss it deep. Score quickly. That's not getting very far, is it? And one of his guys gets hit by a rock and is stunned. Excellent. That opens up that side a little bit, but I don't like the two blitzers since they do have that jump up skill. I put quite a few guys deep, so he can really react pretty well no matter what I do. Okay, I'll try to do these advantageous blocks and see if we can get going. As far as making some kind of opening. Looking at, it'd be nice to try to knock these guys off the side. I've got a better, pretty much totally open and free way to get him off. So that's really what I'm going to end up doing. Move down here just to sort of tie up the catcher. On this side, we're going to move up and knock this blitzer off the field.
That's it.
Bad positioning. All I need is a push to knock him off. And he'll be out for play.
Attacker has an assist.
We'll definitely stay put. I don't want to be on the edge either.
Offense may solve this problem of players being eaten by each other. Just a
And what can I do with him? Yeah, I'll move him adjacent to the catcher on this side too, sort of tying people up. Go ahead and take the advantageous block here as well. Just a push. And I've got an advantageous block here. I don't have block, so I may wait to do that. Not really sure what I should do here. I could double up on the blitzer. I could just put my blitzer to his blitzer and then move the catcher through into this area. So I think at least we'll just go ahead and do this. I'm going to try to pick up the ball, and then we'll see where I can end up with him.
glue on their fingers.
Just going to move out to this side here. If he commits really heavily to this side, I can always shift to the other side and then possibly throw downfield. Pretty much any of my guys are potential receivers with the high agility that I've got. It doesn't necessarily have to be a catcher. So I'm giving myself a couple potential targets here. And we'll try for this block here.
That player is about to get punched above and below the belt at the same time.
Yeah, he does have potentially a way to get through here towards my ball carrier, but hopefully it'll be safe. He can potentially dodge out the catcher, move him down, dodge out, get around. He's got the leap skill too, so he could try to leap over with some of his guys anyway. I haven't actually seen him leap in this game. I think not too often. I've seen the Kislev Circus guys do that every once in a while, but not very often.
Safety in numbers. He's coming to help his buddy. That's gonna hurt.
This player likes to be well assisted in a fight.
That's not a good roll for him. Something about that turnover noise. I just love the turnover noise. I don't know what it is.
Moved right next to a teammate.
Trying to move around to sort of contain things for this side if I can. Possibly I could run up with the thrower and just kind of move him down slowly if I wanted to, or toss or hand off to the catcher and have him move up. I'd really like the other catcher to actually score, though, just because I want to spread around those star player points a bit. So we'll do some advantageous blocks here first and see what we can free up.
Gathering around that lone player, like halflings round a sandwich.
This is going to be decisive.
Just a push, unfortunately.
He won't leave him alone anytime soon.
Yeah, I've got a decent number of guys here, so I could move up and have some protection. Just don't really like having this blitzer there. So if I wanted to take my time in advance and burn off some of the clock as far as turns, then I can do that. But I think what I'm going to do is hand off to the catcher and move him down.
Watch for the handoff. Predictable and a little boring, but it's the results that matter.
And I would have to go for it, so I'm not actually going to go in. So if I really needed to, I could score right now, or at least try to score right now. What I'm going to actually do, though, is try to get my other catcher over there and then hand off to him and have him be the one to actually score the touchdown. That's the kind of thing you might want to think about sometimes, especially if you have, like in this case, a catcher with 0 star player points and a catcher with 18. You want to get those other guys that are a little weaker advanced if you possibly can. And I don't really have anything here I want to do. I could potentially dodge him out of this position if I wanted to. Nobody here has diving tackle, so it's a relatively safe thing to do to free somebody up. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Oh well.
If you can't run, don't try that kind of move.
Yeah, okay, we'll use it as well. Fine. Thinking about not using it there, actually, but just to save it for further down. We're still pretty early in this half, so.
Up, up, and away.
Had to make a dodge roll, has to go for it.
You'll need to get the ball forward.
One die, not a good result. Oh, that's a bunch of crap.
It was time. He's not far from the end zone.
Knocking a bunch of my guys out here. Some more pirouetting Kislev guys knocking me out left and right. I was just thinking at this point about, is there a way I could block to move him to an edge and then maybe knock him off the edge, and I don't see an easy way to do that with the ball being in the way, this guy being down. This is the guy that I want to score. I can definitely move my blitzer down to throw a block on him to move him, but then he would be the one throwing the block to push him off, which would then mean the other guy would be the one scoring. So, I mean, I definitely can push him off the field. But I'd like to get that other guy to be the one to score. See if we can take him down or move him off the ball.
A loose ball is a dangerous ball. Goody.
Gonna stay put to make access to the ball a little bit easier. Have a little bit more protection here just in case. I could even just grab the ball and kind of hang out. I've got a decent number of guys there to protect the ball and the ball carrier, and that would be something I might do if I was really beating up my opponent and doing really well at kind of doing some fouls and a lot of really good blocks, or maybe could push people off the sides and things like that. But I'm not really in that kind of a position, so I'm not going to stall the game like that. It's something you certainly can do, depending on the situation, but in my kind of position where I'm at, it's not really that advantageous. So in case it goes wrong, I'm going to get him up and move him adjacent to the ball as well.
They'll need to scoop up that ball and quickly.
Use my new guy, hopefully to make the pickup roll,
The player's taking the ball,
and then he can be the one to score.
Is it too late for the other side to
Haughty
jump?
elven laugh. I miss the different teams' cheerleaders. I don't know why it's always the human cheerleaders. Oh, my catcher is still unconscious, it looked like. I don't think that was my catcher that got up. He's just been knocked out this entire time. He probably has a concussion.
They simply have a better dog, or they hit harder.
They should replace that player
Yeah,
before they
jeez.
lose any more.
Poor guy.
Despite being in the lead, this team now has to kick the ball to the losing squad.
They'll want to get it back as soon as they can.
So I put my guys with blocks on the edges, doing the same kind of a defensive position. I really like this blitzer to get a point or so to level up as well. That would be very helpful. So I'm still down a guy, so I don't have someone who can fill into that position. It's still relatively good coverage across. Yeah, he's not really swarming the front line there either. Against a more bruiser team, I might be in bad shape.
Lots of rain today.
Raining. The ball is slippery, difficult to hold. -1 to catch, intercept, or pickup. Okay.
Doing something else.
Hopefully he'll fail some pickup rolls then. And get some quick turnovers that way would be nice. Shifting a lot of guys to the other side of the field, away from the ball. Let's see if he fails.
They've grabbed the ball.
No problem,
wisely,
of course.
As it's quite fundamental to the game.
So, kind of funny little cry of pain from the high elf as he went down.
Unity is strength.
The block's not saving me there. Sometimes it will, but not always.
Come on, guys. Together. With fists flailing, he's following up, hoping to get the knockdown next time.
It's kind of surprising having no one really protecting the ball carrier here. So we're definitely going to go after him.
they'll need to get rid of the ball now there's pressure on them.
This guy can just stand up, so I'm not going to do anything crazy with him. That's fine. I'm going to blitz somewhere else, otherwise I could potentially blitz here, but we want to hit that ball carrier. So we're just going to stand up, kind of hold the line here, and hammer that ball carrier and see if we can't knock the ball free and maybe grab it with my catcher.
Move quicker. They can just lost the ball from that loser. They're in with a chance of turning this match on its head.
That's not a good position. Make it very hard for me to pick up the ball from there. Just go adjacent to it, try to make it a little harder. We'll go ahead and keep the thrower deep as well. Do have an advantageous block here, and he doesn't have block, so I'm going to go ahead and try for it. I'm actually going to stay put, not follow that up. Still have a couple guys on him. I could even throw another block on him. Yeah, why not? Just push him back and forth. If I knock him down, it's just going to be something. It's just going to jump up. So I could have potentially taken the down and less block result there, and we both could have gone down, had a turnover, but he would have gone down. But most likely he wouldn't have gotten injured, and he'd just be able to jump up anyway on his turn, which is why I didn't take that option. If he didn't have jump up, then I might have gone ahead and done that.
They've gone into the opponent's tackle zone. Should be good.
That's going to be a hard roll to make there. Should be like -3, I think. Still made it. No, just -2. -1 for the rain, -1 for my guy's tackle zone. Still a -2 is pretty hard.
Obstacle for the ball carrier. Textbook stuff.
Got a big swarm here protecting that ball carrier. Not making things easy. Yeah, nothing real great. So we'll see what we can do here with this block on the blitzer.
Come on, guys. Together.
Jeremiah Cool always
I was hoping for a stun or something there.
their skills prevail.
So do the same on this side.
This is going to be decisive. And a strike made with technique and precision. It's not
I can chase him down with my catcher now, but I'm not sure if I want to go behind my line or behind his line. We'll run in from this side. trying for multiple different directions and angles can make it a little easier to try to exploit anytime he doesn't have that coverage all the way around. And we're going to try to get out of here, which doesn't work. Would have moved him out and then just kind of positioned him down over here, holding this edge of the line a little bit. Kind of surprising with the 83% chance and dodge to not make it there, but like I said, if something bad can happen in Blood Bowl, it will happen.
Those players are very close. Smells like a fight is about to happen. That player is about to get punched above and below the belt at the same time.
The attacker has an assist.
He's going to have things pretty open down this right, or my right side to advance the ball if he wants to, or he may just move a little bit and then try to build a cage around the ball carrier. Yeah, this is another case where he's already blitzed and then using the jump up and then throwing an actual block. I don't remember being able to do that, but sometimes I'm remembering things from the board game as opposed to the computer game. Sometimes the rules aren't exactly the same. And the versions of the board game have changed over the years too, so there's always that. Yeah, just moving forward a tiny bit. Okay, you're there to sort of block forward progress. Being on the edge here is not something I like very much. So if I'm going to leave someone on the edge, I'm going to leave a lineman on the edge. So I'm going to stand him up for an assist. We're going to blitz with my catcher to try to knock him out of position and get off the side here.
This player likes to be well assisted in a fight.
Ah, stupid fend. Now it's going to leave me on the edge there too. Well, I blitz, so I can still move with him though. Where do I want you to be? Just in case, kind of moving down here, having some additional guys covering the edge. He's free if he doesn't try to move that way. And then here, what I can do is move him adjacent to the ball carrier. I do have a strength advantage, but he's got guys free, so most likely he's just going to get hammered.
Especially if the ball holder goes down.
But anything I can do to make things difficult for him is going to be good. Still have my reroll, so even though this is a one-die block, I'm going to go ahead and go for it. And I'm going to stay put, kind of maintaining the line and the coverage with the tackle zones all the way to the edge. Still have the reroll, so why not? If I've got a skill advantage where I have block and he doesn't, then I'll go ahead and take it. Look, his head disappeared there. So in this case, yeah, I've got block and he doesn't, so we'll try for it.
Twinkle toes there.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to do. Anywhere I had skill advantages, I went ahead and took it, even though it's only a one die kind of block. So I'm a little worried about my lineman on the edge here. And the computer seems a bit stumped. Okay. Taking it 30 seconds to decide to do something.
The stadium would collapse, killing many fans.
So went ahead and used his blitz there to clear him off.
They're building a cage.
Don't think he's going to advance the ball here, probably. Well, taking him out, he might have a chance to move it up a little bit. Stun is not helpful for me. One die block going his way. I don't even really often do the one die blocks unless I have to. If I have a skill advantage, then I'll sometimes do it. If I've got a reroll anyway.
Murderous little beasts.
Unfortunately, another knockout there for me. So what I'm thinking of here, I can use these guys to sort of block forward progress, and then I can use my thrower to come around and actually blitz and hit the ball carrier. It's not a great chance of taking him down. I don't think I can reach him with anybody else. Yeah, it's just too far.
Up close and personal, Bob.
You need to be close. So close they can smell your breath and see the dead insects in your teeth.
So with the other catcher, what I might want to do would be I could move him down somewhere where if I can get the ball free, I can maybe get the ball to him to end up scoring. Might also distract some people following him. Or I could get him up and then move him down as well to help defend. Since I do have a really good chance of dodging out of there, I'm going to go ahead and go for that first before trying to block the ball carrier. So it feels a little safer anyway to do that. This is my 15th turn. I've only got one more left. So if I can get the ball free, I need somebody deep to possibly get the ball in next turn. So that would be the only person who really could potentially do that. So I do have some other blocks and things. I'm going to go ahead and go for the blitz here on the ball carrier.
No need to be like that. My life coach says I have a very deep and healthy baritone. Get next to the ball carrier so you can block him. And if that doesn't work, stab him in the face.
Let's use a reroll. Okay, I guess we'll take that. I was thinking about doing that anyway because the ball would go free. With the rain, it's less likely he can pick it up, so I'm hoping he'll fail a pickup roll. which would then be a quick turnover and back to me. Fail.
Not what you'd expect. This is blood.
Oh, he got it. That's too bad. Yeah, it's done. Fine. I've had a lot of last-second deaths and horrible injuries, so that's more what I'm concerned about. So this is my last turn. He'll have one turn after this. So what I need is for someone to hit the ball carrier and then to possibly have the thrower free to be the one to get the ball, roll out, and toss it. Is really the only way that I could possibly score. It's horribly, horribly unlikely that it would happen. But it is possible. I'd like it to be this guy with block. That would actually be the one to blitz. So I can move up to here to cancel their tackle zones.
Put pressure on the ball. Can't argue with that.
I'll blitz with him. Got a couple dice. I've got block.
Pause, Jim.
I needed
They're
it.
going for the ball.
I actually would like him not to catch it. I need my thrower to be the one to get the ball. Okay, so if we can pick up the ball.
Well done. They have the ball now.
Now, I can't really get into a very good position to throw this ball, though. I could try dodging and going for it to get kind of out and away to here to then throw it. So that's a possibility, but I don't really like all the die rolls that entails. And it still would probably be a long bomb. So let's go ahead and try from here.
We call that a pleading pass. The coach is pleading that the pass will kick off a last-minute play and save his skin
Ah!
full time.
Holy crap. I really was not expecting that to work at all. I thought that was very, very unlikely. So now watch me fail the dodge roll. Nope, okay, wow. That was very impressive, actually.
It's a touchdown. I'm so excited my heart
I really thought that had no chance of succeeding. I've had things that have, near the end of a game, I've had a much better chance of doing other things, and they have not come through.
Check your insurance.
So ending the game on that is pretty awesome.
Keep away from the fans, 'cause they're not good.
In the pouring rain, incredibly unlikely, a couple 50% chances and stuff. I'll bet you my catcher's still unconscious. But that was pretty
A few
amazing.
of the knocked out players return to the action. They're short of one player. That's a gap that can be filled.
Yep, still unconscious. It's been like the whole game.
The key to
Yeah, he
winning.
totally has a coma.
Must drive
Or
the
in a
coach
coma, or
crazy,
concussion.
as his team has just kicked it away.
In a concussion, has a coma. In a coma, yeah. I can speak English well. Yeah, we'll kind of go with this as the typical sort of setup. He's got one turn to do stuff. He'll kind of limit the number of guys he can hit, so he can throw blocks on 3 of my guys and blitz somebody else. And we'll do the same. We're just trying to keep the ball in play, so he's got to make a roll to pick it up. right to him, but he didn't get it. So we'll still have to make a roll to pick it up. So that was a pretty awesome way to end the game. I've had a few other times where I've had stuff that had a much better chance that also would have been really nice to end the game on a touchdown or something like that, but something that was, 80% or 70% always ends up failing. In this case, yeah, a couple of 50%, no problem.
Ah, good.
And there,
He's
picks
got
up the ball, no problem.
It's always embarrassing when they fumble that bit.
Ah, he's on him now, like a halfling on a hot dinner.
Now, a human opponent probably would just do, the blocks and you'd be done. The AI does sort of act like there's no turn limit, so it doesn't always seem to be motivated by the number of turns left for making its decisions. It still's pretty decent. I think the AI is quite a bit better in this game than the previous
I
game.
want to see the opposing team have a go at the
I think one of the things that was kind of weird in the previous game, at least for the Xbox 360 version, was the skill selection seemed almost random. So when guys leveled up, you'd sometimes see players with very strange skills.
Change my undergarments.
I think it's a lot better about picking those skills, making decisions, building a cage around the ball.
Yeah, do your
It's
constant
much more
whatever
likely to do
somewhere
things like
else,
trying to
Sneaky.
push somebody off the ball if they're adjacent to the ball carrier instead of trying to dodge away, things like that. So we get a 6, so we get a lot of money, which is nice. Fan factor stays the same, all the way up to 12, which is pretty high. So 4-0 I think is the highest I've had in this game for scores. I think the highest I've ever had was like 6 with Wood Elves or Skaven. I can't remember which. Both of them I had some pretty high games. So 12 armor breaks, 10 armor breaks, a couple passes, pretty good, pretty good. Ball possession not very high. Didn't really hold on to it. I could score pretty quick. Occupation, not really sure how that is generated exactly. 2 passes, 2 catches, 7 KOs. He had 3 KOs and 1 injury inflicted. 96 yards running, 38 yards passing. That's a lot. 45 blocks sustained, 42, so pretty close. Pretty good mix. That's one of the things that's really nice. If you can get a lot of touchdowns, you end up with things like people getting 6 star player points. Yeah, so that was the 3rd game of the competition. So it was set up where it doesn't actually tally together the 2 round robins like it did in the previous game. You could kind of set up with a competition with a certain number of teams, a certain number of games, which would mean every team would play the other one twice. They all counted together as an overall win-loss. And instead it's sort of one round robin of 1 game, then a second round robin of 1 game, and then it's using that second one to decide playoffs. It still seems about right for the teams that end up in the playoffs, but I would wish it would kind of count it together like it did in the previous game. So for the second round robin, 3-0-0, got Skaven and Chaos Dwarves tied in second place with 2 and a draw. Vampires, 1 win each, couple losses. Goblins doing okay for goblins anyway. Other Chaos Dwarf team not doing well, and Kislev is not doing very well at all. So next we'll be going up against the Vampires. I'm going to have a way higher team rating because I've got guys who are going to level up too. So they're going to get all kinds of star player points and crap. Which is not going to be fun. So I'll do my level ups here. What to pick? What to pick? Got dodge and catch, and that's it.
How do I look in HD, Ball?
A whiter shade of pale.
Sure hands is definitely a possibility. So it helps if I'm picking up the ball. It also means strip ball doesn't work against me, so that's the main thing, is the no strip ball working against me. I do use these guys as sort of blockers or ball receivers, so block would actually be pretty good. He's got dodge, so having block and dodge makes him a lot harder to take down as well if he's got the ball. So I'm leaning a bit more towards block. I think that's what we'll go ahead and go with. So having block, dodge, and catch. I can use him as a blitzer this way. He's really hard to take down if he's got the ball. He's really hard to take down just in general. Definitely help. And my other catcher didn't have any level ups, just has the catch. Most likely. Oh, we got doubles. No stat upgrades though. So since I can take anything, what do I want? I think this happened with the other guy, and that's why I took Nerves of Steel. Passing is not usually available to me. So if I do roll doubles, I usually will end up picking something I can't usually pick, even if it's kind of early on and something that I may not be able to use quite yet. I don't think there's any real strength stuff I would use much with a catcher. If I use someone primarily as a blitzer, then maybe Mighty Blow. But mostly right now, at least, their points are coming from either carrying the ball in or catching the ball and getting in. So I think we'll go with Nerves of Steel as well. And the next, if I don't get doubles, it'll probably just be dodge or something.
It's said there is no safer
got that
place
good.
for your money.
So it also increases my chance for intercepts, but I haven't really had other teams throwing the ball very much. So it hasn't really come up. So that puts me all the way up to 1,800 for my team value, and I've got quite a bit of money too. I may go ahead and wait and see. It doesn't actually, the amount of gold you have doesn't affect your team rating until you get over 150,000. I could buy another team reroll, but I might wait and see what happens, because if I buy another team reroll now, it just means even more money for my opponent. And often what they're going to pick is going to be the Halfling Master Chef, who takes away a d6 number of my rerolls. So in some ways it could be good to have more rerolls, because it would mean I would still have some. He's pretty much guaranteed to take it anyway, so I'm going to lose rerolls. If I have more, I might end up still having some, I guess. That's one way to look at it. And I'm so high ahead of him. Is it? Yeah, I mean, it's over 600 and star player, or not star player, but team value rating and stuff that, yeah, I might as well just go for it and add it.
Keep it local by playing matches with nearby opponents. Or you can select a coach to play against.
And that way, hopefully, I'll at least have one or two rerolls. Puts me all the way up to 1850, which is probably the highest. Yeah, by quite a bit, actually. Kislev is 1520, and they're the second highest. And then we've got Goblins, actually, at 1490, 1440. So yeah, I'm way ahead. And that sometimes has happened with more agile teams, because you're scoring more, you're getting more points, so you're leveling up more, your team is worth more. Yeah, the only reason it was as low as it was for this game that I just played was that I had two guys that were out for the game. Well, I think that's probably going to be about it for today, just kind of doing the one game. I may do another game tomorrow, just kind of continuing with the competition. I think it's about time for me to eat something, so I appreciate you guys watching, and like I said earlier, I do put these games up eventually on my YouTube channel as well, which is also Disturbing Puppet. I've got all the previous games from this competition, and then most of the games from the previous competition, which was when I was playing Chaos Dwarves. So check me out here on Twitch, Disturbing Puppet, and also YouTube, Disturbing Puppet. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for spending a couple hours here with me, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks.